Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Not Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. Yeah, we're going to learn how to design that collar neck you saw there before clicking on this video. That image you saw there, we're going to learn how to design that collar. So if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on so that whenever I drop my videos you will be notified. Yes, so I've already taken time to cut my collar and gum some of the parts so that the video will not be long. If you don't know how to cut a collar, I've done a video on how to cut and sew a collar. You can check in my videos, you find a video like that to watch. So I've already cut my collar. This is the big collar. I've already gummed it. Yeah, this I didn't use hard gum. I didn't use collar gum because it's just a practical I'm doing with it. So I use just normal hard gum. All right. So I've cut it. I've gummed the hard gum to it. If you look very well, you see the shape of the collar. The big collar is a small one. I've also uh, gum it. So the next thing we're going to do is that we're going to remove this excess allowance on this collar here because we don't need it. Yeah, so I'm going to remove this excess allowance on this collar because we don't need it. So remove it this side. I'll leave only this allowance here. That is the only allowance we need. Okay, even that we don't need it that much, so I'm still going to touch it a little. So I'm going to remove this allowance here. All right, do the same thing to this side. This is quite simple, so just pay attention and you will get it. And if you like what I've seen already, please give me a thumb up and you can share. I really appreciate. So we identify the center of this collar. You see this is the center here, so we'll notch it. We'll notch the center. The same thing on this, we'll still identify the center of this collar and we will notch it. All right, so this is the center. We'll still notch it here. All right, so we're going to identify the center of this. This is the second part of this small collar here. All right, so also identify the center and we will notch it. All right, so this is the center. We still do want to notch it here. All right, so let's go straight and start designing our collar. So to get our collar done, first we are going to have an allowance marked here with pen. So we're going to mark an allowance of 1/2 inch here. So this is 1/2 inch I marked here. I'm still going to mark it here so as to get a straight line. All right, so I'm going to get a straight line here, and so I'm going to go ahead and do this on this line and at the end here as well. Okay, so we can look at this 1/2 inch allowance I removed. I marked from here, marked here and here. It's actually on the good side of the fabric that I did that marking. So the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead and sew. All right, so this is the first thing we are going to sew. Like I said, please pay attention. It's quite simple and you will easily understand. So we're going to start with this grain right here. So I am going to keep this grain here and I will sew it. I'm going to sew on the line. I'm sewing actually on this line I've marked. Okay, so I'm going to be sure that I'm sewing on that line I've marked. Right, so you check to be sure that you are sewing on that line you have marked. Finish that line. I'm going to cut it off. All right, you can see this. I've done making this very line here, so I'll do the same thing to this other side as well. I'll be sure to sew on that line. Okay, it's quite simple. see, trim it here. So like I said before, if you are enjoying what you're seeing already, if you're liking it, please hit the subscribe button and turn your notification bell on. Alright, so you see the two edges how they are looking now. So I'm going to turn this way, and I'm going to match it in the middle of. Now I'm going to match between the end and this line I drew here. I'm going to match in the middle, okay? So you can draw a line there if you want to, but I don't think you need to draw before I can get what I want. So I'm going to match in the middle. Alright? So I've done that. So I'm going to trim off this allowance. Alright? I'm going to trim it off. Alright? So I'm going to trim it off here. Okay, so that I'll have only this. Now this line here is very important. I'm using contrasting color of thread because I need to be seeing what I'm sewing. I'll do the same thing for this other side. So you're going to remove this allowance. Remove this allowance. Remove this allowance right here. Yeah, see? So the two edges are now looking this way. Two edges. The next thing is to do the same thing I've done there on this, on the main line here. So I'm doing the same thing I did. Still going to sew on this, sewing on this line, this black line I drew here. Make sure you don't sew off that line, okay? If you sew outside that line, it means you're making a mistake. So please sew on that line, don't sew outside of it. You see right here, I'm done sewing this line. So I'm going to turn the same thing I did before. I'm going to sew in the center. So actually, for better understanding, these black lines, you draw them both sides. Both sides you have these lines. Both they go like you drew this side. The lines will be both sides, so that when whichever side you turn to sew, you will see what you are doing. So next I'm going to do is to sew in the middle of the end part of this and the black line I drew here, this line here. So just like I did for those side ones, those small ones. So going to do the same thing here. Trim off the allowance, trim off all allowances. So at this point, this is what we are having. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is now to introduce the red color. Alright, so the red color we are still going to do the same. Now on the red color, we are going to sew it on this white stitch here. That's the stitch we're going to sew this red color on top, this red fabric this red fabric on top, right? Mind you, I'm sewing a little bit outside the line, not really on top of the line directly. So a little bit off the line, right? Just a little bit. Alright, so we're going to cut it off. You see, give me a little allowance, I'm going to cut it off there. Alright. Alright, so what we're having here. So I'll turn this to the side and do the same thing. Alright, see? What we have here. Now we're going to do the same thing to this main line here. Be sure not to sew and allow the white line to show, because that will scatter your design. Do not allow the white line to show. Alright, we're done with this as well. So you trim it off. Next thing we do is to open it this way. See? So open it this way. Alright. And that's all we have here. So if you're liking what you've seen so far, if you like it, please hit the subscribe button. If you subscribe, please like the video. I really appreciate that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do right now is to use this, is to sew on the edge. So we're going to sew on the edge of this, right on the edge, not into it, on the edge of it. Okay, right on the edge. All right, for what we have here, we're going to sew on the edge. Please, we're sewing on the edge of this, just on the edge. On the very edge of it. So we're sewing. Alright, so now that we are done sewing on the edge, you can see our line is on the edge of it, you see. So we are going to trim this allowance off. You trim it off. You trim the allowance off. I don't see what I'm doing. You trim it off. Please, you don't need to forward this video, just take your time and watch through it, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is to introduce this white cover, alright, to sew and to turn it, okay? So just watch how I'm going to do it. I'm going to sew carefully, a little bit inwards. So as to turn it. Alright. Just watch carefully and you get the whole thing easily. So we trim off this excess allowance. Alright, and the next thing is to turn it out. Okay, turn it out. So I'm going to use my iron to press it, then I'll come show us how it's looking. So we can see what we have here. We now have our neck. You can see our collar, sorry, our collar. So the next thing for us to do now is to attach the down part to it. After pressing, this is what we have. This is the back side, this is the front side that we are designing. So the next thing is for us to attach the smaller collar to this big one so that we can finish up our work. So I told us that we should make a notch. We need to make a notch at this point. It's very important because this notch now matches with this notch, all right, before we start sewing. So this is a good side of the collar, matches with this good side of the collar where there's a V here. So on the allowance, on the other second part of the small collar, you see we also the good side, we face inwards. So the three of them at the point of the notch, you see they're meeting together at the same point. All right, so from here we will start sewing. Okay, I believe some of you watching this video already know how to fix a collar. Basically the design you were looking for, right? So at this point you shouldn't be confused, right? So going from here to the other side, we'll make a mark here. And let's not forget, before joining this, we know that we have to match this line here. And like I told you, I'm using a contrasting color of thread so that you can be able to see what I'm doing very well and understand. If I'm using a green color here where there's green, or white where there's white fabric, you're not able to see what I'm doing and you might not quite follow. That's why I'm using a contrasting color of thread so that you can be able to see clearly what I'm doing. Alright, so you can see the thread when I sew so that you understand what I'm doing very well. So the next thing we're going to do is to sew here like we started before. We'll sew to the end this side and we'll do the same thing to the other side. Hope you are seeing what I'm doing very well. If you are lost at any point, you can just you can easily pause the video, rewind back and watch again. We'll do the same thing to this side. Like I said, videos like this, you are careful not to forward too much when you're watching them so that you can actually get the details of everything you are looking for. Alright, so since we are done with this right now, is to reduce this allowance here a little. See the same thing here, reduce it a little. If there's any threads coming out, you cut them, trim them off. So you open the neck, and there you go. You have your neck right here. So just match this line here to hold it. Together. and then we will reduce this allowance down here a little. All right, don't need it too much. So we see our neck coming out so well. All right, so let's press it and see how it will look like. Okay, so this is what we have after pressing our neck properly. Pressing it, this is what we have. And if we are to fold it this way, we see that we're having our neck right here neatly done. Okay, so if you like this video, if you enjoy this video, if this video made sense, if it helped you to learn one or two things, I would really appreciate if you can share this video on your social media handles. If you can like the video, if you can subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Nat Fashion Hub, the best fashion channel in the world. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate.